So we're gonna download Kali Linux, extract it. So download VirtualBox. I got it downloaded here. Right click it, show more options, 7-zip extract files. So I have the extracted folder there. You open it up, it's subfolder, and then double click the blue file to load it into the player. Before you start it, you can give it more RAM and processor core. So click on settings, go to system, processor, and then change the core and change your RAM. So that way it's a little faster, then we can start. So with that, we did step 1 through 10. Then once it starts, we're gonna log in, we're gonna push update, and then we're going to set up, you've seen this before from your prior lab 5. We are going, you already update here, you don't have to do step 16. I double documented that. Sorry. You're gonna turn on your web server, right? And then your vulnerable web app. And then you're going to assess the system. So itself is the target for the scan. So we're gonna ping it. So what you do is you look at the response, right? You want to check to see if the system is responding when you're testing it. And you know, when you're doing recon for ethical hacking, it's the same thing, right? You check to see if the system is connected. You wanted to see if there's surrounding system. And then you would use vulnerability scanner like nmap. I forgot to bold this. And then OpenVAS. Let's log in. So once we're logged in, we're gonna open terminal and we're gonna do sudo app update. Put in our password. That's gonna take a few minutes. Then we're gonna do IP address, which is step 18. So we see that by default, I think this is the standard for the VirtualBox now. You have a loopback address, and then you have the IP address, which is 10.0.2.15. So I'm just gonna put that here. And we're gonna plug this address in, or the loopback address, into our scanner or our commands. Then once we have the IP address, we're just gonna go ahead and turn on or install nginx for our web server. And you just press yes to continue. And then we're going to install DVWA. And then press yes to continue the installation. Now, before you would see that the older Kali, it might have come with it, but I think for the later version now, you need to install it. It's a quick installation. Once you install it, you're just gonna go ahead and start the damn vulnerable web app and the web services. So BBWA -start, and then type in your password, Kali. Okay, so we can see that our web app is there. And then coming back to the terminal, you can open another one, and then you're going to do sudo system control start nginx. I have an extra R there, so it's underlined. So we're going to start the web service and then type in your password. And we just going to leave that, or it's going to run, right? So we want to verify. Open up your browser, or you can do Firefox, like the command here. We can do that. Sorry. Okay, so we see that our web app works and our web server works. Now we can ping. And of course it's going to respond because we are pinging ourselves, right? So, but we want to ping the IP that we got, which is on from the earlier step. And for Linux, it's going to keep pinging. So you're going to hit Control-C to stop it. So did it respond? Yes, right? You see the reply there. And it tells me that there are 15 packets transmitted, 15 received, 0 lost. So all of them have been replied. Then next we're going to try to do sudo net discover I at 0 -r. And then our target IP, oops, or the network actually. Insider 24-F. So this is gonna give you basically an art table, right? And you might not have a very lengthy table because, you know, we are only our own system at this point, but you can use Net Discover to kind of look at other systems that are connected and other IP addresses, right? So if the attacker is able to obtain the information, then we have to look at how we are protecting the information that's produced for ARP. And then you can do Control-C to come back. I should document that. And then next we're gonna run nmap with the switches, right? So we're gonna look at open ports and active services, and we are gonna do an aggressive scan. So this one is it's going to notify the host or log it on the host. So we're gonna do sudo nmap lowercase s, big S, big P, lowercase n, big A, and 10.0.2.15. So it shows that we have the host that's up, right? And then it gives us the OS. We have one port that's open because our web server, and we would see the nginx there. So only one port that's open. And then what we'll do next is we're gonna do a sudo nikto -h and then the IP address. So H is for the host, right? And then the target IP. So nikto is gonna give us some CVE information. We've seen a little bit of this before. And the scan is fairly fast is because, you know, we're scanning ourselves. So if you have a target that is remote, it's gonna take a little longer. Okay. So look at the information that's given you to see if there is any details on, so we see that there's the lack of anti-click jacking. That's a vulnerability. X content header is not set. That's also another one. So, and it tells you why here. We don't have CGI directory. So all of these things listed down here, that belongs to nginx service. So there's a lack of, or there's security gaps that's involved vulnerability on our web server. Okay, so those are the things that you can note. And then next we're gonna do sudo apt install OpenVAS. Press yes to continue. And then once we got OpenVAS install, we're gonna start it by doing sudo gvm-start. And it shows you here that this is the port that it used 9392, and it uses the local host, which is the loopback. And then you can open Firefox and you can type in HTTP 127.0.0.193.92. Maybe it's not. I'm sorry, HTTPS. I have put in HTTP. Yeah. I think that I was having issue with this one before too. Because we're running web server on it and that, so it might not. Yeah, so the update, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think you have to enable the service. I had a note from. Right. Well, ideally, it's supposed to set that up with the installation, right? But then. You can try this. Yeah, it's gonna download files. And I think you have to, it's gonna update the log. So for OpenVAS, right, we need to run the setup, I guess. How far did you get, Trey? Let me pause.